Hi, I'm Paul.
Get that freaking thing out of my face!
Get the fuck back! Well, Daddy, here I am.
How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to break down Paul Rodriguez's skateboarding resume. Let's go. Paul Rodriguez was obsessed with skating from day one, spending every waking hour skating and progressing at a level that quickly set him apart. That relentless dedication quickly earned him a name, leading to a career with some of skateboarding's biggest brands and establishing him as a force in both contest and street skating. Known for his elite technical ability, deep trick bag, and standout switch skating, P-Rod makes complex combos look effortless, blending precision, power, and control like few ever have. With iconic video parts, countless contest wins, and a career defined by consistency and longevity, he also proved himself off the board, co-founding one of the most influential skate companies in modern history. P-Rod didn't just help shape street skateboarding, he helped building the future of it. We're going to start off to the left here in the About section. Born in December 1984, hometown Los Angeles, stands goofy, known for ledge goat, tech, and switch. For signature tricks, I put switch flip tricks, late flips, and combos. There was a period where he did a lot of late flips, nollie late flips, and nollie late flip combos. But also combos in general, flip in, flip out stuff. And P-Rod is one of the masters of switch skating. I remember when I was a kid and I just found out about P-Rod, and people would say that he was neither goofy or regular. He was ambidextrous, basically. He could skate switch as well as he could skate regular. Moving down to sponsorships. At the moment, if we look at P-Rod's social media, these brands are stated as his sponsors. Primitive, Nike SB, Jackson, and Santo Studio. Primitive is his own skateboarding company. Nike SB, we all know what that is. Jackson is a jewelry company, and Santo Studio is a lifestyle clothing brand that he's a part of, along with some other skaters. Ryan Sheckler is a part of it. I think Nigel's a part of it too. In an interview, P-Rod said that he only has 2 sponsors at the moment, which quite different comparing to what it used to be.
I really only have 2 sponsors, not including Primitive, because that's my business, so I don't even consider it my sponsors, my brand. But I only have 2 sponsors, and I like that because I could give them more of me.
He used to be sponsored by Target, Mountain Dew, AT&T, Venture Trucks. You know, he used to have a bunch of sponsors. But I think nowadays, him being a little older, having some money, investing money into companies, he is, instead of sponsored by companies, he is co-owner in a lot of companies.
Rather, when I used to have 7, 8, 9, whatever sponsor it'd be, you gotta do a photo shoot this day, and then this one needs you in this city for this signing over here, and then you gotta be at this contest, and you got to do this. And then I was like, well, when do I get to skate? When do I get to go street skating? When do I get to film? When do I get to practice? They want me to show up at these contests and do good, but I haven't been practicing. I've been on this tour, to this signing, to this shoot, to this commercial, to whatever, which is great, all stuff I loved. But I realized my skate career was getting in the way of my skateboarding.
But these are his main sponsors at the moment. Awards and accomplishments. Rookie of the Year, Transworld 2002. X Games 8 medals, 4 of them gold.
So I keep my X Games medals. Been fortunate enough to do it 4 times. This is the actual board I was skating in the X Games, and they dipped it. And bro, you can see all the marks, the stickers that were on there, everything.
First place, second place, and third place in Tampa Pro, which is pretty cool.
The guitar I won when I won Tampa Pro back in 2010.
He has 3 golds in Street League and 1 silver.
These are special to me because anybody who's skated in Street League knows how damn hard it is to win Street League. It's hard to get into the finals, let alone win one. So these 3 times I was able to pull it off are very special to me because I was skating against, in my opinion, the best skateboarders in the world.
He won Battle at the Barracks in 2010.
Here this time for Battle Barracks 3 is
and he's got 2 silvers and 1 bronze in Due Tour. He decided to stop doing contests in 2016, focusing on business and just skating in general. But as we're going to get into in a minute here, he was the most prolific contest skater back in the early 2010s with Tampa Pro and Battle at the Barracks Gold in the same year. Some notable moments here. P-Rod was in a few of the Tony Hawk video games, Tony Hawk's Underground, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, Project 8, and Ride. He was also in EA Skate.
Hey man, what's up?
Notable mention is how P-Rod's dad, he's a famous comedian. He didn't really accept or respect P-Rod for being focused on skateboarding until he found out that he was in Tony Hawk's video game. Somehow he found out that P-Rod was in the Tony Hawk game. He called him up and he was like, "Oh my God, son, you made it." And this was after P-Rod turned pro and everything. So it wasn't until he was in the video game that he earned the respect that he wanted from his father, I guess.
One day I get a call from him. "Hey, Dad." "Hey, what's up? What's this I hear about you in a video game?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "You're on the Tony Hawk video game?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in the game now." He's like, "How come you didn't tell me?" I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know. Sorry." It's like, "This is crazy. This is incredible. You need to tell me." Like, I'm just like, "Oh, now you want to know." So when that hit, I can't remember what year that was, but that's when he was like, "Okay, I think the kid's onto something."
Aside from skateboarding, P-Rod is an aspiring actor, and he's been in a few movies and TV shows. The TV show called Selena, I think it was on Netflix, The Garcias, and of course Street Dreams, which we're going to get into in a minute. The live series was a 5-episode thing he did where you could follow him along when he visits his family, when he prepares for contests such as Battle at the Barracks and Street League. Just a little bit of behind the scenes of P-Rod's life in general, and also how he prepares for contests. St. Archer, Lemon Farm, and business. P-Rod is quite the businessman, or in his own words, he doesn't consider himself an entrepreneur because he's lazy. He considers himself an investor.
I'm not an entrepreneur. I consider myself an investor. I want to be an investor. The reason why I say that is because I'm lazy. 100% lazy.
He has a lot of money and he likes to put this money into companies, and hopefully those companies will grow and he'll make some good returns on his investments. So a company that he started with some other dudes was St. Archer, was a beer company that they later sold to Coors for I think $35 million. P-Rod has a lemon farm, which he doesn't run it, he just owns it, I guess, and has people run it for him. Same thing with his skateboarding company, Primitive. P-Rod is quite smart with his investments or his business because, like he said, he's quite lazy and he's a skater. He just wants to skate. So he hires people to do his busy work for him. He's just an owner or a founder or a creator, and then he has people running it for him and he just pulls in the money. I respect that because obviously he's been doing quite well for himself. And whatever works for him, you know, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. Have people work for me and skate as much as I can myself. So we're going to move on to some of his major video parts. These are not at all of his video parts, but at least I would say some of the most influential ones. Starting with DNA Microanalysis from 1999. This was his first video part. And then Street Cinema for City Stars in 2001. Fun thing about this video part was they chose a song that Guy Mariano had already used in his video part for Blind Video Days. P-Rod didn't really understand why they did that at the time. He was young and didn't really realize why they did that, but there was some thought behind it, I guess. My interpretation was that they wanted to showcase the new generation by using the same song as one of the legends from the previous generation. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll have In Bloom, Trans World. And then Yeah Right Girl. Yeah Right was P-Rod's first pro part.
I remember this day so good. So that board I'm riding is my first ever girl board I ever got. I had just left from City Stars to girl. That was the first board I got that I set up from girl with my name on it. My first pro board I ever skated. Right there.
There was a part called Forecast, and then in 2010, Me, Myself, and I for Plan B. This video part was one of the parts that popularized the standalone individual video parts. Before this time, the most common thing was for skate brands or companies to release videos that contained more than one skater, full length or just several skaters. But after this, I would say it's a lot more common for individual skaters to do their standalone skate parts and release them on YouTube or whatever, for the companies, of course, but individual parts like this one. So P-Rod was a part in popularizing that concept. Pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to back up and go into the beginnings of P-Rod's skateboarding career. Starting in the mid-90s, P-Rod started skating at the age of 11, and he was obsessed the moment he got his first skateboard. He asked his parents for money for Christmas so that he could buy his own skateboard, and he did. P-Rod would spend all his waking hours skating, and when he wasn't awake, he would actually sleep with his skateboard. This is how obsessed with skating he was. He would just try to improve and get better and better. He got his first sponsor from the Valley Surf Skate Shop, his local shop, where he got on the C team. I think they gave him a discount or whatever, but he was stoked on his first sponsor.
Mom, I got my first sponsor, I'm on the C team. And that right there just accelerated me. That gave me enough to just be like, I can do this.
P-Rod and his friends would film their skateboarding all the time and create sponsor me tapes, and he would quickly become sponsored by another skate shop, 118 Skate Shop, and this shop had some contacts within the industry, and P-Rod would end up as Flo on DVS, and eventually he would end up on DNA Skateboards as an amateur skater. And this is just like a few years after he started, so he was quite on it right here.
And he called me and he says, hey, I gave them your tape. They want to put you on DNA Skateboards. I was like, really? I can get to be float? He's like, no, they want to put you amateur on their actual team. What? I was tripping. So the next weekend, he takes me down to San Diego. I meet the guys there. They give me my first free skateboards. They give me like 5 boards and all the t-shirts I want, stickers, and I'm just like, oh my God, I take the box home and I sleep with all the stuff in my bed. I like snuggled up my free skateboards and all that.
So he was on DNA Skateboards and he had his part in the microanalysis video in 1999. And then after this, he got recruited for City Stars and skated for City Stars in the early 2000s.
See, at that time, like, I was too young to really know what was going on. Now, having dealt with certain business, I can kind of see and speculate as to what might happen.
Like somebody said, hey, you can't use your name.
Right. Like, for what I heard, there wasn't trademarks or anything like that on the name. These other companies didn't want those names, so they had to kept changing it.
As it has been proven, it can kill you.
Totally.
It can kill you. But it sucks that they had to change. I mean, man, it really hurt them, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Eric Costin had always been someone that P-Rod really looked up to. It was his favorite skater. And he was out skating one day with Eric Costin, and he asked him if he wanted to skate for Girl. And he was like, oh my God, this is my favorite skater, wants me to skate on the same brand as him. This is crazy. So he couldn't say no to that.
Driving, and Eric just turns around like, hey, do you want to ride for Girl? And I was just like, this is my hero.
Yeah.
This is the guy
This is the
I
dude.
like literally like tried to become.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I just remember,
Just put you
I'll
on the
never
spot.
forget this. He turned around, picked up his phone, and he was talking to Howard, and he was like, we got him. That's literally what he said. We got him.
So he got on Girl skateboards and he turned pro at the age of 17. And his first skateboard was the Girl Muchachicha, this one right here. That was his first pro board, and his first pro skate part was Girl You're Right. He was also on S Footwear at this time. He had all sponsors that his favorite skater, Eric Costin, had, and he was hyped on it.
And at one point, I had all the same sponsors that Costin had. And like, I was like, my hero, my childhood hero, posters on the wall, watch his videos over and over again. I'm literally on every sponsor with this guy, and I get to hang out and skate with him all the time. That's when I felt like, wow, I'm in the game. I made it. I'm a pro.
So we're going to move on to the pro P-Rod era. Danny Way called P-Rod, and he wanted to recreate Plan B, and he wanted P-Rod on the team, and P-Rod couldn't resist but to join. So P-Rod joined Plan B in the early 2000s, around 2004, 2005, I believe, right after Yeah Right. Around this time is also the time where Nike SB reached out to him, asking him if he wanted to be part of Nike, which this is probably the biggest thing that ever happened to P-Rod. As we all know, P-Rod is a major athlete for Nike SB. He's had 10 different signature shoes. He's the only athlete on Nike other than LeBron, Kobe, and Michael Jordan, I believe, that has had that many shoes. So he's one of the big dogs right here. So I thought we'd take a look at all of his shoes actually on Nike, starting in 2005 with the P-Rod 1s. Looking back at this, thinking this was 20 years ago, I would say this has aged pretty well. It looks like a good shoe. I would wear this today. In 2006, we had the P-Rod 2s, which was a little more reinforced, I believe. And this was the Cinco de Mayo colorway. They had a lot of colorways, but I just put one of them because I can't just show you all the shoes ever. It's going to take forever. But we had the P-Rod 3s in 2008. Again, quite similar to the previous two shoes. But then in 2010, the P-Rod 4s, quite the difference here. Slimmer version, more sleek, modern look to it. The P-Rod 5, same thing here with the full toe cap and the suede. This is a clean shoe, I'd say. P-Rod 6 in 2012. Again, this one looks a little bit more chunky. P-Rod 7 in 2013. This is actually P-Rod's favorite shoe out of the whole lineup, the 7s. I don't know why. I never had any P-Rod shoe, so I couldn't tell you, but it looks pretty good. We had the P-Rod 8 in 2014. This was quite a controversial one because people would say that it looked more like a running shoe or like a everyday sneaker rather than a skate shoe. But in 2015, he released this P-Rod 9 and people would change their mind and be like, hey, this is better because it went back to the skate shoe-esque type look again. And then in 2017, another sleek model, the P-Rod 10s, the final one. And then in 2021, we had the What the P-Rod, which is a mix of all of the P-Rod shoes that they did, which is pretty cool that they did this. I mean, it looks crazy, but it's a really cool shoe if you think about the fact that it's a mix of all the shoes that they did. It's like a celebration of the P-Rod line. And then in 2025, he did the P-Rod 1 Retro, basically a re-release of the P-Rod 1s. Like I said, I would rock the P-Rod 1s today, and I guess you can. They re-released it in 2025. I don't know if they're still available, but it's a cool looking shoe, nonetheless. The thing about Nike SB was back in around 2005 or so when P-Rod got on Nike SB, he got a lot of backlash for it because people would call him a sellout. People would be like, no, don't bring corporate brands into skateboarding. We need to keep it core. We need to keep it our thing. We can't make skateboarding mainstream. This was the mindset back then. I remember a lot of people hating on Nike SB and myself. I wasn't that hooked on Nike at the time. I think it was a natural reaction for a lot of skaters. But not only was P-Rod sponsored by Nike, he was also sponsored by Target and Mountain Dew and AT&T. All of these corporate brands made people think that he was selling out, which, again, that's a normal reaction. We've heard that before. We've seen it before. But looking back on it and looking at P-Rod today, it's clear that he made the right choices for himself. He is quite well off. He seems to be enjoying himself, and he's not with Target or Mountain Dew anymore. He's only with Nike and his own stuff. So I guess it all turned out well. And Nike has really established themselves as a big player within skateboarding since. It's quite interesting to look back on this corporate discussion and how it evolved and changed over the years.
Obviously, having a signature shoe, especially with somebody like Nike. But the reason why it really hits for me is because at 19, when I first signed with them, I was naive enough and ballsy enough to deny them because I wanted to ride for Nike. But my manager called me after we came back home from the trip, telling me all the specifics of the deal. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm 19. These numbers you're telling me, I'm like, this is insane. I was like, wait a minute, but are they going to give me a signature shoe? And she's like, no, they're not doing signature shoes for skateboarders. Dang it. I was like, everything else sounds great, but like, I have to have a signature shoe. I'm already skating my shoe and tell them thank you very much. But if they're not doing signature shoes, then I can't do it. And she went back to them, told them, and long story short, she came back to me and they said, all right, they'll do it. It showed that that's how interested they were in me. And I'm just grateful that that kid at that time had the vision clear enough and stuck to his guns strong enough to like potentially walk away from that. I can't even imagine if they were just like, all right, well, sorry it didn't work out.
Again, around this time, late 2000s, early 2010s, this was the prime P-Rod era when it comes to contest skating. He got gold medals in X Games 2004, 5, 9, and 12. 2010 was a big year for P-Rod. He got his Tampa Pro gold, he got his Battle at the Barracks gold, and he released his Me, Myself, and I part. So that was a big year for P-Rod.
20 grand. Nike Houston, come on up here, please. Nike Houston. Let's get the top 3 up here.
And after this, if we move on to the legend status era from the early 2010s until today, we see that he earned himself 3 golds in Street League, 2012, 2013, and 2016. After this, in 2016, P-Rod decided to stop doing contests. He didn't want all this pressure and responsibility that comes with contest skating, and also he felt like he didn't need to prove himself anymore. He'd already established himself here as a skate legend. He's one of the biggest, so he doesn't need to do the contests anymore if he doesn't want to. So we started focusing more on business and skating. We Are Blood was a skateboarding documentary that Mountain Dew produced, I believe. Huge production, great video. P-Rod being the one narrating the whole thing, showcasing all these skaters traveling, going to China, to Barcelona, to Europe, to New York, you know, going everywhere skating, doing their thing. Incredibly produced documentary. Highly recommend it. The only bad thing I have to say about it is the music is kind of shit, honestly. This was in the early 2010s when music was in kind of a bad place, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Aside from the music, this documentary is really good, and I really recommend it.
Come on, boys, wake up. It's the golden hour. Wipe the shit out of your eyes. Breakfast is on me.
Street Dreams is a movie that they did, a skate movie, where P-Rod plays the main character. It's about a dude that grows up skating and he wants to become successful and become a pro skater. If you're a skate nerd, you've probably already seen it, but if you haven't, you should totally watch it. Aside from P-Rod, there's some big names such as Ryan Sheckler, Ryan Dunn, and some other skaters. There's this trick that P-Rod's character calls the knack that he's trying to learn. It's a tray flip crooked grind.
Oh, tray flip crook? Yeah, my boys call it the knack, though.
If he'd commit, maybe he'd make it.
You should take her advice, man. She knows what she's talking about.
And this whole movie is about him trying to learn that trick and trying to establish himself in the skateboarding industry. A fun thing that I just found, though, was originally the knack was supposed to be a nollie late flip crooks, which I thought was kind of interesting. Every time I hear the knack, I think of the tray flip crook, obviously, but originally it was supposed to be a nollie late flip backside crooks.
So this came out in 2010. This one I was trying to work on since 2005 because this was originally supposed to be the knack in Street Dreams.
Oh, what?
Yes. Yes.
So, the tray flip crook?
Yeah, the tray flip crook was plan B. When Rob first approached me about the movie, about Street Dreams and everything we're talking about, he's like, but for this part, for this knack, it has to be an epic, never been done trick. It has to be something. You have to come up with something. And I was like trying, I was working on it, but I just didn't have it good enough to do it down a rail. Like I couldn't get it. This is the first and only one I've ever landed.
The Motivation is another documentary about a few skaters, P-Rod being one of them, about how they prepare for Street League. It's a big production as well. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it's on there anymore, but it's a great movie nonetheless. Primitive Skateboards. P-Rod was a owner or a co-owner of the Primitive Skateboard shop that opened back in 2008, I believe. After being on Plan B for a while in the early 2010s, P-Rod decided to start his own skateboard company, and why not just use Primitive and turn this shop into a skateboard company. So he created Primitive Skateboards.
I just want to do an experiment, man. Let's just make a certain number of boards in gold and just put them out there, the blank gold boards. People say they would buy, they want it, and I get a call, wake me up out of bed, like, they're all gone. They sold out in 2 minutes. They're gone. Me and Heath were like, man, if we get 500 boards and if we can sell them out in a week, we crushed it.
Right.
We killed the game. So for it to happen instant was beyond what we expected. So,
and today is one of the biggest skate brands in the industry. I thought we could take a look at their website here. They have crazy skate team with all these dudes, which I hope they pay them well because they all deserve it. It's a quite diverse team. Some of my favorite skaters are on here. I mean, Dylan Jabe, Aimu, Frankie Villani. If we look at some of their products, like I mentioned before, P-Rod doesn't like to run things. He just hires people to run things for him, which I think is quite obvious here. I don't really feel like his heart is in this or like in the production line and all that as much as some other brands. For example, Nigel's brand Disorder. I feel like there's a lot more care in that brand compared to Primitive. It feels like the goal of Primitive, at least the clothing apparel side of Primitive, is just to sell as much clothes as possible and get deals and collaborations and just make a bunch of money. And that's for sure, that's something that you could do. But I mean, who buys the Wonderland crew neck for $80? Or the Wonderland tee? From a skateboarder's perspective, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of thought going into this. But on the other hand, if we look at their skate team and how they established themselves within the skate community, I think they've done a great job with that. But then again, P-Rod has said before that he wants to become rich, he wants to do whatever it takes to make money, and he's clearly doing it, and he's succeeding at it. So props to P-Rod. I respect the grind, I respect the hustle, I respect whatever he's doing, honestly. Whatever works for you.
I did always have a vision that I wanted to be very well off. I guess, quite frankly, I wanted to be rich. I guess I always had this vision of trying to figure out how to get to that point of being well off. Then I found out in skateboarding that was kind of looked down upon. But that didn't really bug me because I knew that, like, I just had this feeling like if I just love skateboarding and pursue it, you can tell that the passion and love is there. What I choose to do on the business side of things, that's my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, money is not the ultimate importance.
Yeah.
But it is some, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I'm looking to get paid.
Now we're coming down here to injury. In 2018, P-Rod had his worst injury of his career, ripped his knee in half, basically.
Tried to just half cab flip this 9-stair. My right leg hit the ground first, and I just felt my knee just pop right out and pop right back in. We just, there was some weird, crazy noise just came out of me, and I just laid there, and everything just flashed through my mind. Oh my God, that's it. Oh my God, I'm done. Oh my God, surgery. I never had surgery. What is this? And then all of a sudden, 3 seconds later, I'm like, oh my God, I'm starving. What am I gonna have for lunch? Like the weirdest stuff was going through my mind.
And there was a long recovery period. It took over 2 years for him to get back. During this time when he couldn't skate, he couldn't do anything, he was just trying to recover, he really found this newfound gratitude for where he is, his skateboarding career, and he had taken it for granted. He had become a little bit entitled. This is his own words. After this injury, he realized how good his life is and how grateful he is for everything, which humbled him, I guess. I really like to hear that because after all of this selling out and he's on top of the world and he's the best and he's the coolest and he's the biggest, I like to see that he actually has some kind of humble personality, some gratitude and all that.
I felt like I'm already in my 30s, I'm getting over the hill, like I'm just gonna skate for fun and not worry about it. I don't think I'm gonna put any more video parts out at all. And it took me until 2018 when I blew out my knee to realize that I had been burnt out. That's like, I was confused during that time, like, what happened? Where did it go? Like, where's the fire? And then when I hurt my knee, I had a lot of downtime, a lot of time to realize, you know, that I'd been taking a lot of things for granted, kind of got entitled. It kind of became normal to me, like this life that I was living, like, yeah, another box of Nike shows up, yeah, whatever, this and that. Like, the shit that like the 15-year-old version of me would be going nuts about. I started realizing, man, dude, you really fell off track, man. You really think this is owed to you now. Like, I really realized, like, I was not in a good place. But it took me to that downtime and to get skateboarding physically taken away from me and not knowing if I was gonna get it back to appreciate that. So that's when I decided to dedicate myself to my recovery. This is my new challenge. This is my new obstacle. Rehab myself, get back in the game. Then all of a sudden I felt the fire starting to grow and grow and grow. I was like, okay, I got something. I got a new challenge. I guess I realized I didn't have anything to chase anymore.
And what he's doing with Primitive, he is recruiting young skaters. If you look at Felipe Mota, for example, got Mota on the team from Brazil, a small kid. He gives back to the next generation. I've said this before, I think it's important if you have found success and you have the resources to give back to the next generation and to the industry, you should. I think with Primitive Skateboards, P-Rod is doing that. Primitive is a huge company in skateboarding, and he is recruiting all these young kids from all over the world that he sees potential in and giving them a chance. So that's great. We love to see that.
I never realized how gratifying it would be to, like, help a young kid come from, you know, obscurity, get him in the game, help them become amateurs and then eventually help turn them pro and have their dream come to life, and then that helps them open up their world to getting other sponsors and whatnot. So like I never dreamed that far to think to getting to that point, so I didn't know how actual like gratifying that is to be a part of that
I
process.
gotta imagine that's some of your more proud moments.
Yeah, man, that's a very proud moment that I'm very happy to be a part of in other people's story.
One of the things that I find interesting about P-Rod is his mindset, how he pushes himself and how he stays determined and works hard to get what he wants, to get where he wants to be. When he was a kid, he would go out and he would do 100 kickflips, and he would come home and he would be like, oh my God, I did 100 kickflips. Maybe tomorrow I can do 200 kickflips. When he goes to a spot, if he wants to do, like, say, a back nose blunt, he needs to do first a back 50 and then a back lip and then a back nose blunt. Work his way up to the trick, which is quite the interesting way of doing things.
Some people, I envy them so much, they can just go for the main trick they want to do, but I have to work it up.
Right.
Especially if it's rails, I have to switch board side. Okay, I can't switch back 50 until after I switch board side. Okay, I can't switch back lip until after I've switched back 50. I can't switch back nose one until after I switch back lifted. So I would have to do all these other things that I was terrified to do just to get to the one that I was terrified to do.
Not only is it smart in the way that he doesn't just go all in, throws himself down crazy gaps, but also it keeps him consistent. P-Rod is known as one of the most consistent skaters, and he's known as one of the cleanest skaters. If you look at the Me, Myself, and I skate part, all of his tricks, no matter how tech or difficult they are insanely clean. He makes sure to have his tricks dialed, and he makes sure that he looks good on his skateboard.
That was really what was embedded into my head by the older guys, especially by my friend Nigel. He was like, look, man, anybody can do tricks, anybody can do hard tricks, but if they don't look good, it means nothing. You know, one guy might do the same trick, but it looks like it's so hard, like he's struggling, and another guy might do it and it looks like he's just smooth, like just finesse and flowing. He's like, you want to aim for that, because that's true mastery.
What's next for P-Rod? He is running companies. He is a businessman. Well, no, he's not a businessman. He's an investor. Nonetheless, he is going to keep doing what he's doing, that being skating his little park, hanging out, building primitive skateboards into a legendary skate brand. He has been incredibly successful in his career, and I believe he will continue to be successful and become one of the biggest skate legends ever. He already is a skate legend, so obviously he's going to be one of the greats. And that is going to do it for the Paul Rodriguez Skateboarding Resume. If there's a skater you want me to make a resume video about, leave a comment down below. That being said, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.